The Underground Railroad in Ohio was amazingly efficient and well organized in spite of the all-important need for secrecy. Geography made Ohio one, if not the most important state in the network of routes that runaways followed. Nearly 3,000 miles of routes traversed the state, and most of them led in a northeasterly direction to Lake Erie and ultimately to freedom in Canada. More stations existed in Ohio than in any other state. Without accurate records, it's hard to know how many fugitives came through the stations in Ohio, but most estimates put the number at 40,000 people. The abolition of slavery by the British Parliament in 1833 made Canada the destination of most runaways on the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad grew everywhere, but nowhere faster than Ohio. The Ohio River Valley was a wide expanse that was covered in roads that led to Lake Erie. As Isaac Beck, a longtime conductor from Sardinia, Ohio, said,
"Our aim was safety, not speed, for it made little difference to the fugitive whether he was a week or a month in getting to Canada, so that he got there safely and was fed on the way."
Whenever possible, a family member would serve as a runner, going ahead to alert the next station that runaways were on their way. Most legs of the underground route were between 15 and 20 miles long, since this corresponded with the maximum distance for mounted riders or a wagon to travel at night and return before dawn. Initially, the Rankin's piece of the route was 21 miles north to Sardinia, Ohio. Later, as more and more people volunteered, the legs of the route were shortened, and ultimately the Rankins took runaways only about 4.5 miles to the village of Red Oak. Many of the routes led to Columbus, Ohio. Geographically, Columbus was in the center of the state, making it a likely stop for many of the runaways trying to get to Lake Erie. However, Columbus was an unsafe area for runaways. Parts of the city were settled by people from Virginia and Kentucky, who supported the institution of slavery, and in the city had strong economic ties to the South, and felt that slavery was essential to economic growth in Ohio. Still, there was a large and vocal group of abolitionists in Columbus that were wealthy, politically powerful individuals. One such individual was Fernando Cortez Kelton, a wealthy wholesaler who specialized in dry goods and pharmaceuticals. He was originally from New England and married to Sophia Stone. They had 7 children, and in 1852, he and his family moved to a country home away from the city of Columbus. Their friends were told that this was to provide a larger home for their growing family and to have space for the children to run and play, but perhaps the real reason had to do with moving their secret activities away from the prying eyes of the city. The Kelton family, like most members of the Underground Railroad, kept no records of the runaways who found their way to their homes, so we do not know how many runaways sought and received shelter from the Keltons. One story that is known is the story of a small child named Martha Hartway. Martha had lived on a plantation near Powhatan County, Virginia, with her mother and her older sister Pearl. When Pearl was 12 and Martha was 10, their mother decided to send them on the perilous journey to freedom along the Underground Railroad. Little is known about their journey since they never talked of their experiences, but we do know that the girls arrived at the Kelton House. Sophia Kelton found them hidden in the bushes surrounding the house and brought them in for food and shelter. Martha Hartway was too ill to go any further at that time. Her sister Pearl had to leave or risk getting caught, and she left to make her way to Canada. The Keltons didn't feel like they could put a child of her age back into the dangers of the Underground Railroad. They told everyone she was a new hired girl, but she was essentially raised as one of their children. Martha learned to read and write with the Kelton children and stayed with the family until the age of 18, when she met her husband, Thomas Lawrence. They married here at this house, in the Kelton front parlor. The couple bought property from Thomas Watson, the husband of Ella Kelton, one of the Kelton children. They named their son Arthur Kelton Lawrence, in honor of Martha's childhood friend. Arthur Kelton Lawrence would go on to become the first African-American doctor in Columbus, Ohio. History lives on, as their son James has documented the family history and continues the family relationship with the Kelton House today.